My family and friends, we are back with another video, and today we are focusing on the G87. Yes sir, you guys have been watching the progress of this car. To be honest with you, there's not a ton of progress. We just did springs, spacers, we've done the rear diffuser from Keys Motorsports. I will say, you guys, with this suspension, this car is really settled in. It looks great. It looks really nice. So the new diffuser on the back, which I have to admit, quite happy about. It's not too over the top or crazy. It's just clean. It's simple, you know? One thing I'm learning about this car, these hips are wide, man. I got to get this thing into PPF ASAP. The car goes in next Thursday, and I'm already getting a lot of road rash back here from rocks and debris because this just spit right to the back. Call me crazy, I might PPF the whole car. I know. It's gonna be a lot of money, but I don't know, it might be worth it in the long run, especially if you want to take this thing out on the track. Today, you guys, we have the new lip that I'm gonna be running on this car. Now, I did a lot of research, a lot of trying to figure out what I think works well with the front bumper of this car. And I chose this because everything else is gonna change on the front end as well, in terms of kidney grills and the ducting down below. And there's a company called Stradale Designs. I've been a big fan of their work. Think of them as a very club sport GT style aftermarket company. They're making products for a lot of different BMWs, but they're just a little bit more like the club sports style. And a friend of mine who I've been talking to on Instagram who has a white G87, it's absolutely beautiful. Big shout out to him. He put me onto this company. He was running this lip and I was like, dude, that is a really good, clean looking carbon fiber lip for this car. So let's take a look at it. For one, the fitment is perfect. Like, I've already put this thing up to the car and it fits so good. But the way that this lip is designed, it just reminds me of all of like the GTS front lips, and I'm a big fan of the GTS front lips on all of my cars that I've owned. I just think they look really good, very motorsport inspired, very club sport inspired, and this is no different. I love that it has the little ducting holes right here. I would assume that that would shoot air back to the brakes. Is it functional? Maybe a little bit. Does it look cool? Absolutely, and that's why I bought it. Running front lips and front splitters is an acquired taste thing. Some people don't love them on this car, but the reason that I really like this lip in particular on this car, the G87 front end, it's very flat. I mean, let's look at the 1 Series, right? It's got the curvature. It sort of flows really nicely into the front bumper and the front splitter. Well, the G87, you're working with these very abrupt, hard lines. It's kind of E30, E36-esque, just a lot freaking heavier and a lot wider and a lot longer. So with this being such a flat nose up front, you sort of need something to offset it a little bit, just to give it a little bit more flow and character in the front end. And I think that this lip does a really good job of that. I will for sure want to be running nuts and bolts to secure this to the front bumper. Never put a front splitter or front lip on a car with only self-tappers and 3M. You will lose it. It's just a matter of time. Depending on how fast you drive, you will lose the front lip. Especially if you just hit something while you're driving, you're gonna lose all of it. So I prefer to use nuts and bolts. It's just the smart way to go. However, when you are installing these on a car like this, it's always easier to remove the entire bumper. Like, that's what I always do when I'm bolting them into bumpers like this, because you can get behind here and really just access all of the nuts and bolts without issue. Makes your life a lot easier when you're installing everything. But today we are not going to be removing the front bumper because I have to remove the front bumper when I do the grills and the ducts and the mesh behind here to protect the trans cooler. So with that being said, since everything is already going to be coming off in the near future here, we're just going to put this on the best we can right now. And I'm going to try and sneak some nuts and bolts back there, but I might not be able to, and we'll just have to be careful for a couple of weeks until I can get this thing off. If you are watching this video and you're like, oh, this is how you install lips, just please always put nuts and bolts on your splitters or lips. Just trust me, you have to. It's the smart way to go. And I always recommend removing the bumper. It's also easier to fit these to cars, especially with like the E-Series cars, when you remove the front bumper, because you can form the front bumper to the lip, so it's like perfect fitment. This lip right here out of the box, when this bumper was on the car, didn't really fit that great, but when I removed the bumper, I made it fit perfect, and now it looks amazing. I really like the setup of this lip on this car. So I was able to line this up and just slide it up to the car, and it fit perfectly. So shout out to the guys over at Stradale, because they came up with a design and a fitment that is perfect for these cars. Now, Stradale also offers a ton of other products. I have some more things on the way from them for this G87, and in the future, I'm sure I'll probably be ordering even more stuff from them. If you are someone who is into like club sport, motorsport, like GT style builds, you're really going to like the products that they offer. So as always, you guys know that I link the products that I use in any of my videos or any of my builds. I'm gonna have this linked down below, as well as the full build sheet for the G87. I have already created the full build sheet like I do with all of my cars to help other people who want to build similar cars. This has always been super helpful for people who want to use similar parts on their cars, or figure out how I did certain things, or come up with other options for aftermarket parts for their own build. So if you're interested in that, I'll have all of that linked down below, including the Stradale stuff. But let's go ahead and get this installed. We're gonna go ahead and jack up the car a little bit. I do need a bit more room underneath here in order to get this in there. And then we'll start with the 3M, and I'll see if I can get away with putting some nuts and bolts in right now. But like I said, this bumper's coming right off in a couple of weeks, and if I can't do it now, I'm gonna do it then. Let's get to it. All right, so we are under the car, and you can see we have a bunch of 10 millimeters, and then we have these push pin connectors right here. We're not gonna take those out. We are gonna take the push pin connector that's on the far end out, but as far as the 10 mils, we're gonna take all of the 10 mils out. And then we can go ahead and line this up and send everything through. This already has all of the holes pre-drilled, and they line up with the factory holes. So you don't have to do anything. It should be direct fit, bolt right up, and use factory hardware. All right, this part is rather self-explanatory, but we would just take the lip, line it up on the bumper. And the great thing about this design is it fits perfectly. Like, you're gonna see the lip just hugs the front bumper and all of these little curves, so it makes installing it really, really simple. So this one just on the edge right here. There we go. And then we can start removing all the 10 mils back here. Looks like we have one right here that needs to go. All right, so that gives us a total of 10 millimeter bolts and 2 push pins. If we look on the Stradale, that's exactly how many holes we have. These bigger ones you can ignore. The bigger holes are here just so you can access the existing push pins that are underneath in the event that you need to remove something without taking off the lip. Very smart of them to do that. So looking at the lip layout, places where I think it would probably make the most sense to lay in your nuts and bolts are areas like this and areas like this up front. When I do pull the bumper, I'll probably end up putting 2 on this side, 3 up front, and 2 on that side. So a total of 7 nuts and bolts all the way across, and this will ensure that this thing ain't never coming off. For the time being, I'm just gonna put in self-tappers in those same areas where I plan on putting nuts and bolts in a couple of days' time when I have the lift at the shop. And to give you more of an up-close look before I actually put this lip on the car, you can see what I mean. It just curves all the way into all of the crevices. It's gonna make installing this lip really, really easy. Good fitment is so important on carbon lips. Right, it is time. So let's do this. We'll start with these 2 edges right here and just sort of get it close as we possibly can. Hardware lines up perfectly. This lip is really easy to install because everything lines up so perfectly. It's like OEM fitment, you know? So when you go to put in the hardware, just screws in like factory hardware. So that definitely makes things a lot easier. Hugs the corner just like it should. I mean, these spots are here so you can still access the other push pins. Super, super easy install. It's almost like the 3M is just there to help guide you, like to help guide the lip onto there, but everything is really held with like factory hardware. So here is the part for the push pin right here, right on the edge there. Just like factory. I mean, look at that. It's perfect. Again, lines right up directly with all the OEM stuff. I freaking love that. All right, we got everything on. Dude, this thing fits so good, you guys. Perfect fitment all the way through. Very, very nice. I just love that everything is like OEM, just bolts right up to all the factory holes. You've got your factory push pin right there, and then you've got your 10 mil right there. You've got your 10 mil right there, and all the way down, you'll have the 10 mils across. So it's literally just unbolting the factory bolts, bolting up the lip with all of the factory bolts, which is really, really nice. Look at how good this thing looks. It's not like crazy aggressive, but it's just aggressive enough. And it gives like a modern GTS vibe to it. I really, really like it. It's cool to have this one right here because this is very GTS style as well. Like you have your 2 duct ports right there on each side. Very, very similar, just G series. So I love that they kind of took that design aspect from the older GTS models and integrated it into the G87 models. Man, I gotta say, a front lip on this car does it wonders. Looks so much better and so much more aggressive and not so just blunt up front. Gives it a little bit more character and length. Love it. Looks fantastic. So we have these self-tappers here, and as I said before, I was gonna run these now and then go ahead and do the nuts and bolts later with washers, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Hopefully we don't reduce clearance too much because I don't feel like losing an expensive lip anytime soon. But so far, man, install is a breeze. Very, very easy. Jesus, look at this thing, you guys. That front lip changes everything with this car. Like this shot right here, this quarter shot, it's so modular, just like everything back here. It looks so good. Look at that, man. And then this shot right up here, looks so good. You can see it up from top here. Kind of give you an idea of how far it sticks out. It's not super crazy, but I just love how it like shelves out like that. Really nice. Definitely helps with the aggression of the car. Gives it a whole different vibe. But yeah, you can really see like from the side here how it just changes everything with all this. We gotta black that out ASAP. Shit, man, it's looking good. It's looking real good. So you guys tell me what you think down below. Again, this is the Stradale GTS carbon fiber front lip. Easy install, guys. I'm trying to keep these videos simple, so anyone who's searching for something like this, they end up on this video. So I hope this one helped you guys out. And remember, the full build sheet will be linked in the description. Big thank you to the guys over at Stradale for sending out this lip. I think it looks phenomenal. Very well made, perfect fitment, and I just love the way that it looks. But that's gonna wrap up this one, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.